Hi guys. So I hope you're enjoying your Friday wherever you are. I've decided to come in with my gin. Hold on. Oh wow, I'm showing some bosom tonight. I'm trying to wear my how'd you say my nice black dress, and thanks for that. Making me feel all self-conscious now. I'm working from home and get to join this week. Yay! Hi, Brianna. Hi, Helen. Hi, Raf over in Poland. And we've got Hugh and Graham over on Insta. So there we go. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Laura. Oh, God. I've got a theme. Every single ghost story night, I wear black. And I do my makeup sort of black. So that's the theme. So I'm putting on a black dress that I haven't worn in a while. And it has a wee bit of cleavage. That's why I'm wearing my kimono. I'm wearing my kimono over it. So I'm kind of Japanese tonight. What you saying? I can't. Like, I need to ask my kids. Anyway, thanks, Crystal. Hi, Nicole. Or Nicola, and we've got Laura on. Hopefully you can join me in for a wee botanist gin. And we've got Harold. Hi, Harold. I think you should have received your email today, and Graham. So before we start, Hugh, I'm very well tonight, and thank you, Marissa. Love you. Mwah. I've been watching some of your lives as well. So the point of tonight is our ghost stories. So I've got a few private messages earlier about some ghost stories that we can chat about. But before I do, I thought I would quickly mention a few things. So you would have noticed, yes, we were in the paper. We were in the paper yesterday, I think it was. And it was pretty cool. So they decided to cover us because they saw that we were doing virtual tours, and they thought that was a pretty good idea. So they kind of contacted me and they ran the story. So I'm really chuffed about that. In other news, I just got told that the Highlanders Convention in August is now being officially postponed. So we know it's now going to be off for a while until next year. So if you have any folk who are supposed to be on a tour because of the Highlander Con, contact everybody and you can move. Hi, Helen. Yeah, you saw me in the record. It was good fun. But anyway, so hi, everybody. So before we get started, I just want to quickly see Laura has her gin. Anne does not have her gin. Anne, send me your address again and I'll send you some gin. I'll send you a wee gin. I'll send you a botanist over and a Harris with the whatever saltwater kelp. Oh, we've got a paranormal investigator and had a strange experience in France a few years ago. Awesome. We've got some paranormal folk on tonight, which is always good fun. And we've got somebody for Dundee on the other side of the country. I'm drinking, okay, just quickly. Helen's got her limoncello. I have got the botanist again. And actually, guys, there's a couple of cool things which are going to be happening next week. So if you are a whiskey fan, next week would have typically been the Whiskey Feis, the Isla Feis over on Isla. So all the distilleries and the brewery over there are doing special virtual tours and tastings. So if you are into your whiskey, especially the Isla whiskey, so your smoky whiskies, your peaty whiskies, Lafroy, Lagavulin, Ardbeg, Bruichladdich, Bunnahabhain, Cool Ila, Kilhoman, who have I forgotten? Ardnahoe, who have I forgotten? Bowmore. Can't forget Bowmore. And yeah, I think that's it for the open distilleries at the moment. So have a wee look out for that. No, Macallan is Speyside. So I think the Speyside, they'll probably be doing something next month. Crystal, no, Sassenach whiskey is not available in the UK, as far as I'm aware. So we just have to deal with the good old stuff that we've got here. So anyway, we're going to be doing ghost stories tonight. So just hello everybody who's coming in. It's wonderful to see you all tonight. I've just been asked if I could sing a song. No, I don't think anybody wants me to sing a song. Okay, so we are going to be sharing the screen. If Haggis comes in here on Insta, we'll get you to come in and do your ghost story as well tonight. But before I do, let's go and talk about some of the spooky happenings in Edinburgh again. So I'm just going to be a very kind of general ghost story night again today. Talk about things that I've experienced personally and things that I've heard other people have experienced as well. So there is the oldest pub in Edinburgh is the White Hart, and I think it's this one that they were referring to. Has got a ghost, and just like anything, it's really good marketing to market your ghost. And I'm going into the wrong thing here. Technology, guys, especially on a Friday night. So the White Hart Inn in Edinburgh is said to be the oldest and most haunted pub, and located in the heart of the vibrant and busy Grassmarket, which makes the pub a hotspot for tourists after a ghostly sighting. So you could argue, and I know there's quite a few people who are in this, who are going to be watching this, who are fairly skeptical. And one of the things you could say is that you have to be half cut, like really drunk. And that's probably why they're seeing things. Who knows? But we're going to go into it. So the Grassmarket's a beautiful part of Edinburgh. It's actually probably my favourite part of the old town. Just because I just love it. I just think all the pubs are lovely. The wider spaces. And you can access pretty much anything from it. So you've got some lovely photographs if you need it. So let me just go and read about, since we're drinking, so we're going to be going into haunted pubs, okay? And 6 of the scariest haunted pubs in Edinburgh. So let's go to the capital. So if you do come to Scotland, hopefully you'll get a chance to be haunted, I suppose, when in Edinburgh. And Kirsty Porteous is now on Facebook from Instagram. It's a good idea. If we've got the Instagram going, but this is a good platform to see us on. So the first one would be, and I'm going to have to get my glasses on because I'm going to read other ghostly sightings first. And then I'll go into my own ghosts next. So the first one is the White Hart Inn, obviously. And I'm going to see if I can share this screen with you all. And hopefully it works. Here we go. Yay! I think I'm sharing it. Awesome. So you can kind of make that out, guys. Maybe I'll do it like that. And then you can see it, okay? So if you're on Instagram, I'm sharing the screen, but I'm going to read it out for those who don't have Facebook on Instagram. So the White Hart Inn is one of Edinburgh's oldest pubs Its cellar dates back to 1516, and the White Hart Inn is undoubtedly its most haunted. Having been around for such a long time, it's no surprise that the pub has picked up some spooky stories and a ghost or two along the way. So there is a photograph here, and I suppose they're looking at this thing over here, maybe? I can't really tell. In 2013, an Australian couple captured the above picture of what they believe is one of the many spectres that haunts the old inn. Bar manager and self-proclaimed skeptic Michael Johnson, 31, said, "I was in on the night the picture was taken, and I find it hard to explain. When I first started here, I laughed off the stories, but things just seem to keep happening." An American tourist a couple of weeks ago came tearing out of the toilet saying that something grabbed his shoulder. So this is a guy, right? Something grabbed his shoulder, and one of the barmaids had her hair pulled while changing a barrel. People often hear footsteps upstairs after the bar is closed, and our cleaner says he will leave if he has one more strange encounter. Scottish ghost adventurer spent a night in the bar last year, prompted by the picture above, and managed to record the words. Oh, for flip's sakes, I nearly swore there. Sorry, guys. The words "help me" and the name Connor being uttered by a mysterious source. Michael said the Scottish ghost adventurer set up a lot of equipment downstairs in the oldest part of the building, including an electronic voice phenomenon machine. Sorry, this is a little bit silly. Which seems to have picked up a voice saying, help me," and then something about a baby. I was upstairs with them the entire time, so I know they didn't do that themselves. According to popular myth, Edinburgh's notorious murdering duo, William Burke and William Hare, are supposed to have enticed several fellow drinkers away from the pub to kill them at their nearby lodgings before selling the corpses. Research carried out since the photo's discovery had uncovered an unverified drawing of a prostitute dressed in red who's believed to have been killed on the premises during the 1800s. Oh, I do see it there. Now, that is a bit weird. Research came out since the photo's discovery had uncovered an unverified drawing. I read that. A second intriguing photo below of the supposed ghost was captured in June last year. So this is a bit creepy, eh? Can you see that, guys? Anyway, there has also been the sighting of a detached pair of legs, followed by a full figure in the centre of the cellar near the fridges. So let's see what you're making of that. So this is Kirsty. Hi, Kirsty. So Kirsty, I wonder if you have done this paranormal investigating at the White Hart Inn. But anyway, so that's one. Now we've got something else by YBG Productions. I'm probably going to have to come out and come back in to play this. Let me just see if I can find it on Vimeo first. I can. So I just want to see how long this goes on for. Okay, so it's only three and a half minutes. So my next thing I'm going to share is I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to share again. Okay. But I'm going to not have myself in this one. Okay, so share screen, share audio, entire screen. Oops. The Banshee. I don't know if I like this, guys. It's already freaking me out. Can you see that?
What?
Could you see it?
What?
Oh, you're not watching. So if you go over to our Facebook, you can see this. It's really creepy. I don't know. I might just stay looking at you guys. I've heard this might be a load of nonsense, right enough. So this is a little terrifying. You're not watching? Just the ghosts at Nidri Street.
Where?
Where the vaults are. There's a pub there. The Nidri Street vaults kind of freaks me out. The ghost people. Hey, Sash. Sits. Good girl. Here, Peter. Nice. Table. Are you coming in? Okay, lie down then. Here. Okay. So let me just see. Oh, you can't hear anything. How annoying. You could see me snacking and talking to the dog. Okay. Oh my God. Right, I'm going to do that again, right? Let's go back to sharing. Is that better?
The Banshee Labyrinth on Niddy Street has been named Scotland's most haunted pub, but is it the surroundings and the horror movie decor that create this eerie feeling, or is it the dark history of the vaults?
You see me eating my dry burst. Hey guys, I'm going to go from Instagram just now. I think if you want, go over to the Facebook and the YouTube / Scotland, and you can see what we're sharing. Cheers.
Some people say that they can hear people crying, but it's a pub. And then there's girls and gin involved. There's always going to be tears. Other stories, yeah, if you go into the vaults, yeah, there's always kind of, like, if you go deeper, there's some kind of freaky stuff. You know, there was still kind of witchcraft going on. They have people would die, which is kind of where there would be some beggars or kind of thieves or prostitutes.
Awesome.
And they're the people that are meant to kind of haunt this area. They have the stone circle, and they say that witchcraft is there, so like it still goes on down there. But what they don't mention is that it's like white witchcraft, as opposed to, you know, these things kind of stuff. It's the kind of good witchcraft. Because of like the ghost hunt that we do, even though that a lot of it's more based on the kind of the history, the environment has got a lot to do with what they want to believe. There's places where it can be eerie or it can be cold, but that's it. It's not a particular kind of chill. You know what I mean? It's not a kind of spooky chill. It's just cold. It's just a damn building. But I don't believe, for me, there's stories like the ghost people will tell you that they go into certain rooms and things have been thrown about. You're there just playing to the tourists.
Okay.
And it is generally the Americans. It's generally they'll come out of the tour and they're still in that kind of mindset. Edinburgh, it's always going to get its American tourists and the kind of half of them are looking for like ghosts and the other half are looking for that heritage, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, you may as well milk it while you can. Milk that cash cow.
There we go. Back. Good Friday evening. He's behind you. We can't see anything. So now you can see it though. You can see it afterwards. There we go. Now we can. Awesome. So that is the vaults. I've spoken about the vaults on this particular tour before. This live chat already. And that's the one with Mr. Boots. So let me just go back. I'm going to share again so that you guys can see properly the more of the ghosties. Okay. So here we've got the Banshee Labyrinth. So you heard that guy just kind of talk about it. So a Banshee is, well, it's mostly the story about the Banshee. Let me just see if I can share that with you. It's like a kind of female spirit who heralds the death of a family member, usually by wailing, shrieking, or keening. Her name is connected to mythology, important turmoil, or mounds in the dot in the Irish countryside. I have heard about a banshee being seen in Scotland. It's that's basically what a banshee is. Anyway, so let's explain. So with most famous story being that of a workman who were once renovating the infamous pub. The group were working in the closed pub when they heard a sobbing noise before finding what appeared to be a young woman with her hands, with her head in her hands, crying. When approached, the mysterious female lifted her face to gaze upon the workman with eyeless sockets and screamed a blood-curdling cry that caused the labourers to flee the pub. The story has various versions, and one even has one of the workmen receiving a call a few hours later informing them of the death of a family member. Sections of the pub were once part of the infamous underground vaults of Edinburgh, and this has added to the strange aura around the place, especially given the fact that many people met a grisly end in those cavernous rooms. Other stories tell of unattended pints being launched to the floor or thrown at the walls. Now, this is a good one. This is the last drop, and the last drop is actually one of the smaller ones. You want to just say hello, Tamsin, before you go?
Hi.
Let me just go. So I've got my youngest here. She should be in bed, but she came down for a wee drink. There we go. Say good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good. You don't want to be seen, Tristan?
Yeah.
Okay, away to bed. A screaming banshee, yep. Oh, we're talking about the vaults just now. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Away you go. Right, close the door. Thank you. Gute Nacht. Okay, so the next one is going to be the Last Drop Tavern, named after a reference to the last hanging to have occurred in the grass market. The Last Drop has suitably a macabre backstory. Right? Sorry, I've got a dog. He's trying to steal stuff. Interestingly, the grass market gallows were allegedly situated across from the pub and could help explain the high level of supposed paranormal activity in the area. Their website proclaims that they are allegedly haunted by a little girl in a medieval clothing, with sightings of diminutive spirit occurring in both the cellar and the bar. Supposedly, the mischievous little girl lived in the tenements that were later transformed into the pub. She has apparently been spotted by the bar's employees over the years and has even supposedly whispered some of their names when they were alone in the building. That's wonderful, isn't it? I always, like, ghost children are always the scariest. I don't know what it is. Whistle Binky's live music bar on the South Bridge. Although another pub, sorry, I can't read tonight, sorry. Another pub has been built into the side of the South Bridge vaults, and another that seems to have its fair share of ghost stories. The most famous of which is that the entity that has been named like this one. Guys, this is Mr. Boots. Okay, so I know we're not going in there, right? A mysterious figure who has been seen at several places in the pub, but mostly appears in the cellar. He appears to be wearing 17th century clothing with riding boots and a tricorn hat. He's been spotted by staff and customers alike and tends to disappear when approached. Apparently, he has been known to haunt other parts of the vaults as well. The Tollbooth Tavern. So the Tollbooth is kind of like near the end of the mile. One of the most famous buildings in Edinburgh's Canongate area, the Tollbooth dates back to the 16th century, where it was used to collect tolls from those travelling to the area. The front of the building became a pub in 1820, which has previously been used as both a police court and a prison. Though no singular entity has been named, there are more than a few tales of drinks flying off tables, often full, as well as several other stories of bumps, noises, and things being knocked off of the walls. Given the building's long and rich history, it's perhaps a surprise that there aren't more stories of the paranormal. I had a wee drink in there. Well, it was a soft drink because I was driving, but we've been in there a few times on tour for a wee pint or whatever. We've then got the Star Bar for a story that's a little different from the generic things that go bump in the night's tale. The Star Bar's owners say that they have a clause in their lease that forbids them from removing a human skull from their premises. According to their website, a previous manager who transferred the skull to another local bar. What? Let's just say this again. According to their website, a previous manager who transferred the skull to another bar was shot there during a raid. A group of fitters also had the misfortune of their workshop burning down after they removed the skull. Now no one will dare touch it for fear of the dire consequences. So there you go. Let's stop that share. I'm not scared. I'd go. So let's have a quick look. Who we got here? Oh, Laura's just saying, hi, Tamsin. She's away now. She's away. So there are a few stories of Edinburgh pubs. A lot of pubs here have stories. Just because I think just to put my skeptic hat, even though as everybody knows, I'm not a skeptic. If I was to put my skeptic hat on, I should probably say that pubs tend to be dark, dingy. Cellars are a wee bit dodgy. You've got to go in, there'll be different noises, old buildings creak and everything else. So there's going to be a bit of both in there, I suppose. And I think it's good publicity, isn't it? At the moment, you've got a spirit in your location, so you can actually sell it. So there you go. So that's some ghost stories. So Kirsty, since I've got you in, where are you from, Kirsty? And we can see if you have picked any ghost stories out. Let's see. And full of drunks, yeah. Have you got any stories for us, Kirsty? So Kirsty came over from Instagram and is does a lot of, oh, you're in Paisley. I was in Paisley earlier today, which was good fun. Not. We're over in Greenock. But so have you witnessed anything paranormal, Kirsty? Mm-hmm. So there is a bit of a lag here, so I'm just going to hold on. Oh God, where do you want me to start? So let's go. Let's start with Paisley. Have you had any ghost stories from Paisley since we were there earlier today? And it's really windy outside. I don't know if you guys can pick up the wind that's happening out there. It's like really, really, really blowy out there. Skelmerley Hydro Hotel was very haunted. Is that the one down at the front, Helen? As you know, Skelmerley is incredibly haunted. If you go to the old stables, definitely haunted. There's a couple of places that I know, which I think deserve investigating. So, places that I've had experiences in Greenock, you've got where to start? You've got the old Ravenscraig. There's lots of ghost sightings that have happened up there. You've got in my old back garden there, in different houses that I've stayed in, all through the old kind of more tenement style buildings. There's been ghost sightings on roads, lots of roads. We've seen spirits crossing over or pointing at things and all sorts. There has been, just trying to think if there was one more recently. Like there was a time, interestingly, and I don't think I brought this one up yet. So when I was 17, I got a part-time job at the bank, at the Royal Bank of Scotland in their mortgage centre. And I would be working between, I think my hours were 6 till 10. So I did 4 hours a day. And so I did that. And I would be the only one in the building other than the security guard. So it was that kind of bad that my manager had given me like a panic button in case something happened. I was wanting about this panic button. And where the bank was built is on top of what used to be the oldest and largest dry dock in Scotland, and it was part of the Scots shipyard back in the day, which is a really old shipyard. And so there were many nights actually that I would be in there, and then I would hear like footsteps and movement from like the other side, and I'd be sitting in there all on my own, like nobody else was there. And I couldn't quite explain that. So I can only assume that they were workers in the old shipyards. Who knows? It was a very prominent dock. It had been a dock for hundreds of years. So who knows? Built on top of it. Kirsty is also saying, so let's just quick. Hi, Daniel. We've got Kirsty saying there's the Paisley Witches at the West End, 2 haunted pubs, the Swan and the Bull, and I've done an investigation in the town hall and encountered a young girl trying to protect the group. Well, that's really interesting. Helen saying it's knocked down now. It stood at the side of the cliff on Shore Road. I know exactly what you're talking about, Helen. I know exactly where you are now. Sorry. There's also the spirits of the folk who died in the canal disaster in the 1800s and the 5th floor of the Mile End Mill. I studied acting there 15 years ago. Wow. So the Paisley Town Hall, I'm sure that'll be, because our town hall here in Greenock is also haunted. In fact, a lot of people, do you know what? I might even see if I can find something on this one because it's local for me. Town Hall. There's also the Gamble Halls in Gourock. So the Gamble Halls in Gourock, we used to go there for like, I don't know, like we had a couple of events there and I used to go to meetings because I'm quite politically active and we used to have meetings in the Gamble Halls and definitely haunted. So I want to see if I can find, so this is from January 2008 and this is in our local paper. So I'm just going to share this, guys, with you now and you can have a wee read. So this, I mean, if you're in the Greenock Town Hall, it does feel like there's definitely something up on the, whatever you call those areas. Let me just, oh, wait a minute. This is more. There's actually a guy down the road from me here in Inverkip. I was talking to my pal David and he's got a house in Inverkip and he just met the paranormal guy. I hate it when that happens. The light's just gone outside by itself. Okay, I'm not looking outside. So I'm just gonna like do that because I don't like it. So here's some Greenock poltergeists. Oh my God, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to share this page rather with you guys and see how you get on. So I like this. Greenock. Am I sharing this with you? Yeah. Greenock is a picturesque town in the west of Scotland overlooking the River Clyde and around 20 miles from Glasgow. So let's go on a wee haunted tour of Greenock. So we've got the old Ravenscraig Hospital, Inverkip Road in Greenock. So this was actually called, at one point, this was the poor house and the workhouse. It then became more a place of mental, like insane asylum. And my great granny used to work there. And she ended up, sadly, at the end of her life, they had other hospital buildings over here, and she moved in there because she got dementia. And it was one of those kind of funny, sad things when a loved one gets something like that. She went in there and she was getting very upset because she'd been in there for 2 weeks while a patient and still hadn't been paid. So you've got to look at the funny stuff sometimes. But anyway, this was the old poor house. They've just knocked it down. I haven't been up to it myself for a long time because they closed the entranceway to get in. But I know I was talking about it recently and somebody said, yeah, it's pretty much all gone, and it was down to like asbestos and stuff because they'd done upgrades and stuff, obviously, when asbestos was the thing, and it was now thrown down. So the morgue area was considered to be by far the most plagued area for supernatural activity. On numerous occasions, the red morgue door would bang loudly from inside as if someone was trying desperately to hold off the journey to their final destination. Founded in 1876, various former members of staff throughout the years reported disembodied footsteps roaming through wards and corridors in the dead of night. The question is now these spirits have left without their building. Will they begin to inhabit the new houses being erected on the site? Oh my God, why do they keep building houses on these places? So I hope you guys can see this. I don't know if you can. This is what it used to look like. And there's a funny story of my sister. We still live not too far from this, actually. And my sister decided she was running away from home. And my dad found her like near here. So we always said, we knew you were a bit mad. So this is what it looks like. No, I think we're done with that. So there you go. So then we've got the Greenock Poltergeist, Auchendarroch Street. In 1991, a young family were said to be terrorised by an alleged poltergeist activity in their small council house in Auchendarroch Street in the town. Beginning with small, forgettable events, the activity soon became so much that a priest from the Catholic Church was drafted in order to bless one of the young daughters after she had witnessed two angry apparitions violently fighting with one another in her bedroom. One increasing phenomenon including a scratching sound coming from within the walls of the house to an unusual liquid which would soak anything it touched, only to completely disappear again within mere seconds. A group of local spiritualists attempted to encourage whatever was causing these bizarre happenings to get to, but around halfway through their cleansing ceremony, the entire floor of the house appeared to violently shake, and the scratching sound from within the walls grew to an enormous volume. Thankfully, with the help of a local reverend who vouched for the family's experiences to Inverclyde Council, the young family were relocated to a different property and were never plagued by paranormal activity again. One has to wonder who lives in the address now and whether or not they are aware of their home's terrifying past. Crow Mount on Dempster Street. Crow Mount was an ancient area which ran close to what is now the Mount Kirk in the town. So this is actually the church, which is the main church for my kids' school. Once said to be where local witches met, one of the unfortunate group who was sentenced to be hanged from one of the very trees she and her coven would have practiced witchcraft under. Just before the noose was put around her head, she put a curse on this very spot. However, this woman's spirit is not the only said to still frequent the area. Archibald Weir, a resident of the area and fresh back from fighting in the Crimean War, was no doubt harbouring a number of mental scars and was also desperately down on his luck, having returned penniless. Turning to petty thieving in order to make ends meet, Weir was caught red-handed stealing a ceremonial drum that had been kept safe for over 300 years, as it had been used to march Scottish troops into battle alongside James IV against the English at the Battle of Flodden. It was rumoured that the spirits of Flodden's dead drove the poor man to hang himself remarkably close to the site where the unfortunate witch had met her identical fate as payback for removal for their ceremonial drum. It's said that on certain anniversaries, the drum can be heard around the area close by the church, and the ghostly spectre of poor, desperate Archibald Weir has been seen wandering, guys, I can't even speak tonight, wandering aimlessly before vanishing into the dark of the night. So that's an interesting one for me, because that one, I actually know a friend of mine. Our kids are in the same school. He's the minister of that church, and his wife, I know her very well. I should message her and say, hey, Sheila, have you seen that? But it is a pretty creepy part of town. This is one that I know is haunted. This is the Fire Service Museum and Heritage Centre in Greenock, and I know this because I have spoken to the firemen. It's not actual firemen, it's retired firemen who set the centre up, and it's the Strathclyde Fire Museum, and it's in Greenock here, and it's a fantastic place to visit, and it's in the old fire station, and they've got like this one portrait on the wall with all the old firemen, because obviously in the old days the firemen used to have big beards and big mustaches to help them with the smoke inhalation. And it's like there's just something there. And when I was speaking to some of the volunteers, like that run by volunteers, and they were telling me about it. But anyway, let's get into the story. So this Victorian building has been long believed to house the odd ghost or two, with various paranormal groups having carried out vigils here. More than one tradesman has refused to go into certain rooms within the museum due to feelings of unease and cold spots which disappear as quickly as they appear. One paranormal investigation member saw the figure of a gentleman with a handlebar moustache in his 40s, who appeared to be completely aware of the group's presence. Ghostly bangs in the night and items being thrown have also been reported by various paranormal teams when they investigated the creepy location. I totally get that handlebar. There's one with, and this is from memory, so forgive me if I'm saying this wrong. When I was in there and I was talking to one of the staff members, because remember, I'm a Greenock tour guide, so I started off my career doing Greenock walks, which obviously includes the Fire Museum. And he was telling me about it, there being a case of a young man who was 17 who committed, I don't know if he committed suicide, but he fell from high up inside the what's now the museum, but it was the station, and he fell to his death, and he is said to haunt the building as well. And I think his father was a fireman somehow. But anyway, that's my story. So if anyone's watching who knows this, maybe you can verify what I've just said. We've now got the Greenock Town Hall. So this is the one that I know for a fact is definitely haunted. Is the Greenock Town Hall has a resident male spirit which has been seen by numerous people, although frustratingly he has never appeared on the building's CCTV. One incident happened where two workers saw the gentleman dressed in old-fashioned attire, which they dated being from the early 1800s, walking into the kitchen area of the building. Bewildered as to who he could be, both men followed him, only to find that the man had literally vanished into thin air, having no way to exit the kitchen, save having to pass the men on their way to the kitchen, which they assured most definitely did not happen. Naturally unnerved and shaken by this and desperate to seek an explanation for their experience, they checked the CCTV, only to find no trace of the man whatsoever. The only figures on camera were the two men themselves looking at each other in utter bewilderment. So there you have it. That is Greenock. The horse scared the shit out of me. Sorry. The horse? Which horse? The old Royal Alexandra Hospital in Paisley is good too, but all closed off now. Kim, let's hear your stories. What kind of wine are you sipping tonight? I've just got this, like, I've had this glass for so many years. So I thought I would, it's kind of creepy looking, you know, it's like oak crystal. Anyway, the horse. Oh yeah, the fire museum. Yeah, they've got the horses like pulling, pretending to pull as you're coming in the cobble streets. Yeah. When we moved up here, Phil was stationed at Greenock, and they aren't allowed they're not allowed facial hair now. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. So my stories of Greenock. Well, not far from the Fire Station Museum. I've told you guys this story before, but I'll tell you again. So not far from the Fire Station Museum, you go, the Fire Station Museum is here on this wee street that goes like that, and a wee street that goes up like that. It's called William Street. Now, William Street is said to be where the oldest house in Greenock sits now, which is the Dutch Gable House. So you've got the Dutch Gable, which is from the 1750s, and then just behind the Dutch Gable, you've got the older building, and that dates probably another 50 to 60 years before that. And the actual older house has had quite a long history, because it being a port town, they believe it was even used as a brothel. Very kind of close, cramped, all the rest of it. We've got some great stories here. But that's also the street where the inventor, James Watt, was born. And James Watt obviously revolutionized the world, because he invented something called the steam condenser, which helped make steam power more efficient. So if you've heard about the watt measurement in energy, it comes from James Watt, and that's where he was born. But anyway, if you go there on William Street, there's a pub called the Old Bank Pub, and it is definitely haunted. And I had a friend, this is many, many years ago when I was much younger and stupider. We had a friend who had a flat above the pub, and we used to go and stay there and have a few parties or whatever. And it was this long, long, long corridor, and there was definitely something. I can't say what it was, but it was just a feeling of not wanting to be alone. And the girl who stayed there was very aware of it, but she just said it was fine. And it was in the yard. It was called the Yard before it was the Old Bank. And when it was still the Yard, that's where I went and witnessed all the doors in the bathroom being kicked open, and I was the only person inside. So that was a little bit scary. Hello, Biscotti. And a lot of houses around the private beach at Weems Bay are haunted. I had the friend who now lives in Inverkip, who I know his house is haunted. Like, I told him his house was haunted. His son's seen a ghost as well in his house. It was actually the last social event before lockdown. We went for a party at his house. But anyway, he lived down at the beach in Weems Bay. I can't remember if he said anything to me right enough. So what other apparitions? There's so many. I should probably ask some of my friends, because they'll remember more than me. One of my friends lived on Kelly Street in Greenock for a short time. Well, it was maybe a couple of years. And when I was staying at her I wasn't staying. I used to practically visit her almost twice, 3 times a week because she's one of my best pals. We grew up 2 houses away from one another. And we were sitting in her kitchen. Oh, Taylor. And the glass we had just went, like, you know, not like I never flicked it and nobody else. That freaking light just went on again. I hate it. I hate it. I'll tell you, just outside my back here, there's 2 things. Okay, since we're in my house, I'll tell you about my ghost stories in my house. So my cat, who's now over there, who's just jumped up my tumble dryer, that's Gizmo. And what Gizmo used to do is when I was over at my friend's house that I was just mentioning in Kelly Street, I used to come home. And so this is before this lovely dog I've got next to me now, who's being awfully interested because I've got some nice snacks here. But it was before her. And Gizmo used to come to my, like, whenever I came home, and it was night, like 11 o'clock at night or something after visiting my pal, and Gizmo would come out, his wee cat flap, and he would sit and meow, 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 hello, hello, and he knew my car and everything. Well, I assume he did. And he used to go, hi, hi, you know, come, meow, meow, meow. And the one night I came home and I got to my front door. It was just before my front door, and Gizmo was there, and he went meow, 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 and then he looked behind me and he spat. You know when you like, when cats do that weird thing. Anyway, he did that, and there was nobody or nothing behind me. So I thought, oh well, maybe there's something, like he's sensing another cat or something. So I went into the house, and I've got my downstairs bathroom, and I went to my downstairs bathroom. And my front door, which was closed, and the cat was sitting in front of it, like just sitting there. And then the whole door just banged open. Like my front door was banged open, and Helmet was in bed. And I was like, Helmet, can you come down and close the door? Like I couldn't go anywhere near the door. And I heard like, I can't explain it. I knew that it's something not nice coming in. So I had to do my thing. And then that night, like I have the weirdest things that happen to me, guys. Like just images. I get lots of images in my head. Particularly when I'm trying to get to sleep. And they're just random. It'll be like the worst kind of things, like just horrible things will come into my head. And then what I do is I say the Lord's Prayer over and over and over and over and over and over again. There was actually another thing which happened, and we are obviously on tour, both Helmet and I are tour guides, and Helmet was on tour, so I was in the house myself, which happens quite a lot. So I had fallen asleep on my couch watching the TV, and I don't like doing that. I don't like being downstairs in my house. I like to be in my own bed when I sleep. And this one night I'd fallen asleep there, and I heard on the couch next to me there was movement. So, you know, just like if you can imagine me, just somebody sitting there with me, like just sitting there on my couch next to me, and I couldn't move. So I was just, okay, I'm gonna lie here and try and sleep, but it didn't happen. So I then put the music up, I put headphones on, I put music up so that I couldn't hear anything next to me. So that happened here. Another thing was, and this is a bit sad. So a very, 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 very good friend of mine passed away. Gosh, 13 years ago now. And we had just moved into this house. And we just had the bathroom, and there was a problem with the electricity when we moved in. You know those things that happen when you're going to buy and everything looks great, and then when you move in, there's a couple of niggles. So that's what we had when we first moved in, and it kind of lasted with us for a full 10 years of staying here. But we had an issue with the bathroom light. We figured out the guy had completely messed up the electrics, so the bulbs burst. So I'd gone for a bath. And my daughter, by this point, my eldest daughter, she was like 8 months old. So I put her, she was in bed, and I thought, I'm going to go for a nice bath. So I put the candles on in the bathroom, and I was lying, and this was late. I mean, this was like 12:30 at night. Any young mother will know this, that you kind of take your chances where you can. And I was in my bath. And yeah, it was after midnight, because I'd gone in just before. Anyway, I was having a nice bath, and the candles that I had just went and off, right? So didn't think, and I was already back at work. So this is the story. So I went to work the next day, and I was sitting at my desk, and I don't know if you guys remember MSN Messenger. I got a message from my friend who stayed in Kelly Street, my best pal, and she messaged me to tell me that this person had passed away, and he had sadly died in a fatal car accident at the same rough time that those candles had flickered for me. So that was a pretty hard moment for me for a long time. It took me a long time to get over that. And then I had a dream, and he was in my dream, and he said, "It's all cool, I'm fine." And then I was all right. So that's my story. But that was weird. I had another one where I was lying in bed, and just in my ear, I heard, I'm not going to say, obviously for reasons, I've never told the person in question this, so I'm not going to blast it all over here. But I got someone said to me, "Tell Leap I'm okay." That's all I got. And I know this person, but they're not very close to me. I used to babysit this person, actually. And I know the person who said that in my ear. But anyway, I didn't think anything of it. And then my sister, who's friends with this person, told me that this person's mother had just died. So that was one. I think, did I tell you the story about the suicide? I don't know if this one is the weirdest one for me, and it was a tour guest. And it's kind of hard for me to talk about it because this tour guest is also no longer with us, and she was an absolute gem. We were very close. She came on one of my tours. I private tour for a couple of days, and she was just magic. Wonderful human being. And a month after she was on my tour, she messaged me to tell me that she had been diagnosed with quite a severe form of cancer. But while she was with me, I had a sense that there was something not right. There was something not right, and not necessarily with her, although there was something not right with her. We knew that, but with something else. And we found out that her ex-husband came to me in a dream. Now, I didn't know anything about her personal life. I didn't want to pry. It's not my business. As a guide, I don't delve into your personal business. But I went to bed in a hotel in Kinlochleven. We were staying in the same place, and I was in a different room, obviously, and in my dream, I got a message which said, tell them, I'm not going to mention their names, tell them that I love them. And I didn't mean to do it, but I did do it. I did take my own life. I didn't say anything, obviously, because that's not something that you want to say to somebody. And the following month, when she told me her news, I've still got the chat because I don't delete these things. And I said to her, I said, look, I hope you don't mind me saying this, because I just have to say it. Like, I didn't want to say it before, and I don't want you to think that I'm weird or anything like that. She said, no, tell me. And I told her what I had experienced, and she told me that, in fact, her ex-husband, the father of her son that she had brought with her, did, in fact, he was found shot dead in his car. And there was a discrepancy about whether he was entirely responsible for his death, and that would bring some sort of closure to them, given that he told me that it was, in fact, that way. I mean, I can't explain these things, guys. I don't do it deliberately. It just happens, and I will never. There's some things I'll not say because it's not my place, and I don't want to upset anybody unnecessarily. So that's a little bit into my head and things that I have experienced and witnessed, which nobody can explain at all. I mean, I can't read your mind. I'm not that good, but that's there. Let me just quickly read. Helen says, my friend lived in a big house at the south side of Inverkip. Her and her husband have had to move house as it was haunted by a man at the upstairs window. Like, Inverkip is a bit scary and creepy anyway. I totally understand, says Kim. Awesome. Kirsty then says, my old flat, which was a new build, was haunted by a World War II nurse and a fireman. My youngest daughter, who was 3 at the time, saw the fireman. I researched the land, and it turned out that the same night the first aid post at Woodside was bombed, a bomb also landed at the auxiliary fire station at the West School, killing 2 firemen. Their bodies were taken to the building across the road from the school, which just happened to be where my flat was. Also had a malevolent spirit who used to shake the... Thanks, Laura. Telling them something happy. It is so weird, Taylor. I can't explain it. I can't. I had one psychic woman. What was her name again? She was a bit scary. I'm just going to see if I can find her name. She was from Glasgow. She was dead famous. Mind the pun. Psychic woman. Right. Because I didn't know. I'll need to ask my pals because I've forgotten her name off the top of my head. But she was quite old when I met her. Not Anne Blackstock, no. She was from Glasgow. I remember that. She came down from Glasgow in a taxi, and the taxi waited outside the whole time. And she saw me. And I was actually ill at the time. She saw me, my pal Ashley, and my pal Colette. So she saw the four of us. And then she got back in her taxi and went all the way back up to Glasgow again. And she was famous because she used to like take on the spirit, like their manner, and like almost like she was not possessed, but you know what I mean? She kind of took on their characteristics and everything. And she told me when I walked into her, now sadly from what I've heard is she's also passed away now, because she was a wee bit old and I could hear she had a really bad chest like when she was with us. But anyway, when I went in to see her, she shouted at me, like she properly shouted at me. I was like, oh, what did I do? She's like that. You need to stop ignoring it. You need to stop ignoring it. And I said, but I don't like it. I don't want it. And she said, well, that's because what you need to do is wear a crucifix or a cross or something, because that's your totem. That's going to keep you safe. And I was like, all right. I never did, though. My thing is the Lord's Prayer. That's what gets me through. But yeah, so there's that. What other ghosts? In the galleries that we had in Largs, that was definitely haunted. We had even Helmut experienced weird, unexplained activity in there, and he's the biggest skeptic you'll ever meet. In fact, do you know what? There is another story. So in South Africa, in Helmut's parents' house, so we were over visiting when we first started going out. So this is like in 2005. We were down in Africa and I was staying at his old parents' house. And his brother used to meddle with the paranormal upstairs with the likes of the Ouija board and stuff like that. And there was weird things that used to happen up there. Not necessarily something that would make Helmut believe, but just a weird, creepy feeling. But anyway, we were having a lover's tiff, like a proper lover's tiff. And we were on the bed and we were arguing about what we were going to do, like something incredibly trivial. And the weirdest thing happened. A cushion, which was sitting next to us on the bed, just flew off the bed. He still can't explain that. He's seen it, but he won't admit it. I'm like, that's some crazy shit happened there. Mind my language. What did I do for Laura? Laura, I don't know. Do you mind me telling them what I did for you? I don't want to say it if you mind. That's if Laura hasn't gone to bed now because she's got a wee baby. We'll see. There's just a bit of a lag here, folks, so apologies. I'll wait till I see. Okay, no tell. So the story is that Laura and her lovely husband had been trying for a while to conceive a baby, and obviously being quite stressed out and I can't find the right word because it's awful. Like if you are a woman and you want a baby and you trying everything you can and you can't have that, it's a horrible, horrible feeling. And that was kind of what Laura was going through. And she wanted it so badly, as I'm sure a lot of women can sympathize with. So she had and her husband were successfully put forward for IVF treatment, so for assistance in getting pregnant. However, there were another couple of other problems there. So we went out for a night out in Glasgow, and I decided to bring my cards with me for Laura, just because I wanted to reassure her that everything was going to be okay. Because there were a couple of kind of stumbling blocks before IVF could really work. So I read the cards, Laura, and this was in a pub. Where was this? Which pub was it again? I can't remember where we were. And I was the sober one. I was not drinking because I was driving. But I read Laura's cards, and they came out that Laura was in fact going to conceive. And I used my own little gut, and I told her that she was going to have a boy and not to worry, that it would happen at some point very soon. And I think, Laura, if you don't mind me saying this, I think you were a little bit apprehensive about what I said, maybe just taking it with a pinch of salt. I don't know. But just before Laura's treatment, no, it was during Laura's treatment, the day that Laura was supposed to go in and get it, what's the word? Checked up? Not checked up. No, I remember what happened now. I was on tour. I was doing an Outlander 3-day tour, and I was at Linlithgow Palace, and Laura was getting her, whatever that is, in vitro, whatever, I don't know. I'm clueless about this stuff, but it was the initial, not the initial, but after the hormone stuff, it was when they were going to do the extraction or start, or no, they were inserting the embryo. That's it. Sorry, guys. My science is really bad. Anyway, I went to Linlithgow Palace, and in Linlithgow Palace, they have a little prayer box. So I went in and I wrote a wee prayer on a wee card, and I said, because you can do this, and then they read it out in their prayer sessions at the church. And I wrote in, please let my friend Laura, let this be successful. They read it out in the church. And I think, Laura, if I'm correct, you get checked up a bit earlier than normally you would. Usually you get your first check at a 12-week scan. I think Laura got her first check at 8 weeks. And just before this is happening, Laura was obviously messaging me very apprehensive. So I read her other cards. I read her some angel cards, and all three of them pointed to being a mother and this being successful. And I told her not to worry, it's going to be fine. And yes, she was pregnant and everything was great. And then I was over in South Africa on my holiday, and just near the end of my holiday, and I was at a service station, and we just stopped for a quick lunch or something, because we literally drove from Cape Town practically all the way back up to Johannesburg. And well, not quite, we kind of stopped off midway, but anyway, it was a good 6-7 hour drive. And we stopped off at this service station where we had some breakfast. And while we were having our breakfast, I took my daughter to the toilet, and I saw I had a message come in from Laura, And she said, Catriona, I'm not telling anyone, but because you told me that this was going to be the case, just to let you know, we did the sex and it's a wee boy. And I was like, see, I told you so. My radar is, my baby predictions have been pretty good so far. So I managed to, I didn't get you pregnant, Laura. I can't say that I got you pregnant, but I just let you know that there was nothing to worry about. And I hope that you take that. And I do get a sense that there's a wee lassie coming at some point as well. So you never know. A wee lassie's coming. It's coming at some point. There's my wee gut feeling. But yeah, so no, that was my wee story about reading Laura's cards. So I don't take any money, guys. I do them sometimes for people if they're going through a hard time. Hopefully they help them out. So there you go. Love you. I know. Love you too. It makes me great actually if I think about it. So, but it's good. It's good. It's a happy story when we're doing all this kind of doom and gloom. It's quite nice to have a nice little happy story. So, and baby is wee. I'm not going to say his name, Laura, just because it's not my place, but he is a wee cracker. So, Kirsty, you need me? I'll do yours. Send me a message. I prefer to use the angel cards now, right enough, because not for any other reason. I just like a more positive message, even when there's a bit of negativity. So it's my wee hobby. So I don't take any money for it. I don't think you should really, but anyway, so that's that. We got any questions, any other ghost stories before we end? Because this has been an hour and a half nearly. I don't know if I'm going to start doing live card readings or angel cards or whatever, but it's my wee hobby. And they've been pretty accurate for myself, to be fair, as well. Sometimes if I'm feeling a bit down, I'll go and do them. Let's just quickly see. No, just my wee sister. So John's got a story here. Wonderful John. So John was at his friend's house. He always went on about a ghost in the house. Well, the first time I was there, I was standing at the bottom of the stairs waiting on my friend coming out of the toilet. I could see his family in the living room when I saw a shadowy figure at the top of the stairs. Hold on a minute. Honestly, I ran so fast, nearly burst the front door down. His family had to calm me down as I got cold chills down my spine. Sorry for the bad grammar. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. We're not, no grammar police here. I like a wee bit of Scots. That was my cat having a wee sneeze, by the way. That was to me. Hello. Do you know what his problem is? His problem is I'm actually sitting in his chair. Thank you, Small. No, he's like, see you later. Hey, Sash Bash. It's when the cats and the animals look at things, though, guys. Like, don't you think that that's like the creepiest thing? Or when kids look at things, or kids tell you that they saw something, and it's like, oh my god. So yeah, tune in to Ghost Story Nights on Friday nights. We are probably going to take a wee sabbatical again on next week, just to kind of give ourselves a week a month to kind of be able to catch up with some TV and have some private couple time, I suppose. Because we've got kids at home, and then, you know, I'm sitting here all night, so we're going to be taking next week off. But if you want to PM me, and if you want any, I can give you a wee reading. I don't mind, Kirsty, so no problem with that. And Ian, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed it, because you've done well staying here with me for nearly an hour and a half. And yeah, so I hope you had a nice night. I'm going to have one more gin before bed, and then I shall see you guys tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we are going to do, because Tamsin is absolutely desperate, we're going to do an earlier session, which we'll put here. So I know some people in the States maybe not be able to join in, but you can watch it for later. Tamsin and I are going to read the story of The Secret of the Kelpie, because it's a book that she lost, but now she's found it. So she's desperate. She thought, when I was out in Paisley today, getting some butcher meat, as you do. And my youngest was on the phone going, I found the book. So she wants to do that. So we're going to do a nice little story, a kids session. And we might do that more often. What the actual hell is that? Gizmo, like, that is like the weirdest sound I've ever heard coming out of a cat. Did you guys hear that? It's not the right to be making funny noises. So anyway, so thank you for taking part, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye, guys.